That dog.
A little spray, a little quarantine action. Welcome everyone, this is Jordan Gonzalez here. Today's episode 1 of our Finding Words series. Today I'm glad to introduce Bul Kuol.
What's up?
He's been my best friend and basically my brother for the past few years, and he has a great story to share for all of us.
Coronavirus!
We are 6 feet apart. We're chilling. We're good.
So Bul, tell us a little bit about your childhood and how you got here now.
I was born in Nubani, that's in Ethiopia. From there we moved to Kakuma, another refugee camp that's in Kenya, and we lived there for about 2 years. And as refugees, my uncles, they worked together to get us to Australia as refugees.
How did that whole process work? Was it hard for you to get into Australia because you were a refugee, or?
I mean, Australia was very accepting. They have a diversity program, so they were very accepting. It's very hard to get in that refugee program. And so I was very fortunate to be one of the ones picked, because it's a more of a blessing and an opportunity that's, it's not guaranteed. And so I was just lucky, and God put it that way.
So how was it transitioning to Australia, and what did you do there during that time?
Well, transitioning to Australia was different because I had never been in that kind of culture. I was born in Africa, and so going to Australia was different. I had to adjust to the culture, I had to learn English. So I was basically adapting to a new world, and that was difficult at first, but I was fortunate because there was a system already set there to sort of help people like me adapt to that type of community, adapt to the country, and so the programs were there. So when I learned English, that changed everything for me. I got to interact with people, I got to understand their perspective, and that initiated my growth. I adapted pretty quickly. I picked up sports. I was always good at sports. I wanted to be a soccer star, except my family didn't want me to. That was one of the only reasons I started playing basketball, and so I hated playing basketball. I hated basketball. I hated watching basketball. I didn't want to do nothing with basketball. And then in high school, my friends and I, we just picked up a netball hoop, no backboard, no nothing, and we would just shoot it up at recess. We would just get whatever ball we could find, and we'd just shoot hoops. And that sort of started my process of loving the game. We started playing it more and more and more. Then I joined the basketball program over there, and my uncle took me under his wing, and it was cool. Like that for me started the process. I wanted to learn. I was watching Kobe highlights. I was watching Kevin Durant highlights. I was watching Luol Deng highlights. I was a sponge, and I fell in love with the game.
When did you receive your first call or start making calls to colleges out in the States?
Well, for me, I was a knucklehead coming back at home, and so I didn't understand how that works and the dynamics of it. But I was very lucky that I had people around me that knew what they were doing, and so I was blessed. There was a guy called Brendan Parnell. He did a lot for me. He was calling out to colleges, he was emailing colleges, and this is when I was in probably grade 12. So this is my senior year of high school, and I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but he just took over and created an easier pathway for me where I can get in touch with CBU, and that process started.
So how's it been in America, and what's next for you, Bul?
It's been cool. I remember it's already been 4 years, which is crazy. I just finished my last year. I still have one more year of eligibility, but I just graduated from CBU, so that's a great achievement. I remember my freshman year academically, it took some adjustments. Basketball-wise, it was smooth, it was good. I struggled my freshman year to adjust to the new style of basketball, to adjust to the lifestyle. And sophomore year, I caught some traction, and then I built some momentum, but I went through a couple of injuries that set me back, and these last 3 years have been all, setbacks in terms of minor injuries, just continuing to appear up. But I'm taking my talents to Detroit now, and I feel like this is going to be a great year for me because I'm working on my health. This time has given me, unprecedented time to, put all the time and needs in front of me where I can, work on my health, working on my body, and prepare it for what's coming. And so I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to this next year.
I think one of the reasons I respect you the most is your ability to adapt to any situation or adversity that comes your way, and I think that's exactly what this brand stands for, and I think you embody that. So going back to that, can you pinpoint a time in your life where you hit a wall that changed your perspective on life or forced you to work harder?
For me, it's easy. After my sophomore year, I had built some momentum. I created some confidence in me. I had a great season, and I seen what I could do. And so I had a lot of confidence leading into my junior year. And about 12 weeks before my junior year, my back started hurting. And so I was like, what's going on? And it was nothing, but it's gradually got worse over time. And leading up to season, it got to the point where I wasn't able to be on the court. And I tried playing it during that season. And I came back, my back got better. And then my back on the left side got worse. I had a stress fracture. And that forced me to make a decision. Should I keep playing or should I not? And so eventually, 10 games deep into the season, I had to stop playing. And so I had never been in that type of position before. I didn't know what to do. I had a huge chunk of my day taken away where I couldn't be myself, who my identity was. That was basketball. And so that was taken away from me. And so, but that also opened the door for me in terms of my faith. I feel like God used, in that moment, God used that time, to build my spirit, to build my faith. And I feel like for me right now, that's the most important time for me, because that created a door and a pathway for me that led me to this point where my faith is strong. And I can gladly say I'm a Christian, and my perspective has changed on life. And in terms of work, like basketball is something that I love. It's not who I am. You know what I mean? It's something that I love to do. And I've been blessed to have, brothers like you who I can lean on to in times like that, bro. Like during those times, man, like me and you was out there in the corners, bro. Like I feel like those times, like that created a bond for me and you during that times. We were able to communicate and, be with each other. And we had a lot of time together. And so, although it's unfortunate, like those are blessings, because that created something that we can look back to, where we can say, bro, like remember those times, like when we was on the sidelines, we was laughing, although we were on the sidelines, where we came back and we was hooping. And so like, I feel like for you and me, that was a great time for us, because we got to be together in terms of bond, and we was in the training room together, we was on the court together. And so I appreciated those times, although it wasn't the most fortunate situations. It wasn't what we wanted, but God, does things that you don't understand sometimes. He puts you in situations where you don't understand, and then you look at it from a bird's point of view, and you see the whole scope, and you're like, wow, like look where we're at now. Like me and you are sitting in front of, we're interviewing each other right now. Like who would have thought? And we're talking about our story. Like who would have thought? And so I'm grateful for those times, and it's changed me forever, and I'm thankful for them.
Yeah, no, definitely, because I think the only way you can propel your life and your purpose is you got to be right in all aspects of life. There's got to be balance. And if you're not there yet, it's hard to move forward. So once you get your faith, your finances, your love life, basketball, once you get all that in good balance, I feel like that's the best way that's going to propel you to the next step in your journey. That's going to make you a better person, a better man, a better brother, husband, anything like that, hooper. So no, I definitely agree with that. It's going to take time, and sometimes you need things to happen a certain way to propel in life. So
it's not easy, and that's the cool part about it. Like it's not a story where it's smooth rides, smooth tides. You know what I mean? It's your life has its ways of teaching you things, and sometimes it's struggle. And for me, it's been a struggle because I haven't been able to hoop. I haven't been able to, do the thing that I love at the most optimal level, because I feel like I've been held back a little bit by my body. But that doesn't mean my spirit can't grow. Of course, it's hard. It's not gonna be ups all the times. Like you're gonna plateau. But in those moments, I feel like those are the moments where you recognize who you are. Those are the moments where you recognize your character. And my character has grown tremendously in terms of God, working in me, giving me people like you, giving me people I can lean on. And so those are the things I cherish. Because when you're at your lowest point, that's when you see who you are. That's when you see who's around you, and that's where you recognize what's real and what's not. And so, for me, like I've been in that situation many times in these last 3 years, and it's a blessing. I can only say I'm not saying that just to say it. I'm saying it because like that's my purpose. God puts me in these situations for reasons, and I don't understand sometimes, but you know, I'll hopefully when I go to heaven or something like that, where I can look at my whole story and be like, this was my story. It was unique, and you did this for me, and so it is what it is, man, and I'm thankful for it, and I'm grateful for it.
So, Bul, what do you hope people gain from listening to your story?
Like I've had this time where I've not been able to, do what I love, and it's tough because I wish I could go out running right now. I wish I could go out play basketball. I wish I could go hang out with my friends and hoop with my friends, do something that I've been doing for basically my entire life, and something that I really invested in with people that I know, and with it's something that means a lot to me. And so for that to be taken away from me, and then God put his faith in me and work in me, like I feel like that's the significance of my story. You know what I mean? It's not like I didn't do anything. Of course, like I got to keep moving, but God gave me that strength to be able to recognize what he's trying to do in me. And I think you have that kind of story too. And it's weird because there are a lot of things that I didn't understand in terms of like why am I injured 3 years straight. It's not like a significant injury. It's like little things that just keep digging at me. And like those things are like, it's hard to understand those things because I remember like me and you worked hard to try and get back on the court. And then something silly will happen that literally just puts you back on the sidelines. And you're like, what? You know what I mean? Like that catches you off guard. And those things are hard to understand. And if you try to understand it yourself, you're gonna go crazy. And I found myself in those times a little bit. But, I think my faith is what kept me strong. I had people that I can lean on. That's what kept me strong. We had plenty chats together. That kept me strong. I had my homies who would put me in the Word, and they didn't have to in those times. And they just kept, being there for me. Hey, here's the Word. You should read the Word. See what God, you know what I mean? Be with God. And so, like, initially that was hard to understand, but looking at it from now is like, I understand, you know what I mean? And now I'm about to, go to Detroit, and I'm not healthy now, but I'm gonna work hard to be healthy when season comes, and hopefully God is with me in this process, and God is good at all times, and so I just gotta trust in the process and keep evolving,
Mm-hmm. And I think what I've gained from you is just to keep pushing no matter what happens. And I think you have a great perspective on life because you just don't focus on what's in front of you. You also look ahead, and that keeps you motivated and excited. And for me, like I would just watch you and how you would do things. And I already knew your story beforehand. And from refugee to Australia to States to injuries, like to me, you're just a walking like piece of inspiration. Like just your energy's good, your vibe's good. Granted, like we all have our moments, but overall, like I just think as a person and as a man, you just bring good vibes and you make people feel at home, and people can trust you and they lean on you because you're just that of an inspiring person. So,
like, it's not perfect. The process is not smooth, and when I say God worked in me, that didn't instantly shoot me up. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, this is good. Like he said, you're gonna have your moments. There are moments in practice as well. It's like struggling. There are moments at home where I was struggling, but in terms of if you look at the overall story, you just got to keep moving forward. And so like I could say that's the same for you. Like we've had similar struggles. You've probably had it tougher. You know what I mean? And look at you. You know what I mean? You keep moving. And that's like, I feel like that's the moral of the story. It's just keep it moving. You know what I mean? What's next? It's not getting rattled and getting swayed and suddenly you're folding. And it's just persistence, resistance, and just keep moving forward. And I think that's a huge part of who you are as well. Like your character is so tough, and I've been fortunate to know you for 3 years, 4 years. I don't know how long we've been knowing each other for a long time. And so that's why I'm grateful with people like you, because you're able to look at somebody else sometimes. And when you look at somebody else, you get away from your own mind. And like that gives you perspective. And so I gain a lot of perspective from you. I have tremendous respect for you, bro. And I mean, you letting me tell my story on your show, like, you know what I mean? I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, we're glad to have you, brother, and I'll always be around and in contact with you. So I appreciate you, Bul.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you too, my dude.
Bul, I appreciate your time and sharing your story, brother. It's all love over here, so I'm looking forward to meeting with you again wherever you go, and I'll always be around.
Always love, man. I appreciate you. We've been through it. We dogs for life, man, and so yeah, I appreciate you, my dude.
Appreciate you, brother. We'll do a little air hug for the sanity.
Spray that dog.
A little spray, a little quarantine action. Appreciate y'all.
6 feet.
Stay tuned.